Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be creating 15-inch Tazmania centerpieces. Let's go ahead and start. I'm on Silhouette Studio, the designer edition. Now, let's first set up the printer and the canvas. On your left-hand side, click on File. Not File. Yes, click on File. I don't know what happened. Click on File, Print Page Setup. It all depends the printer that you're using. For the 15 inches, I'll be using my wide format HP 7740. So my format would be for that HP 7740. Now, I already have presets done. So I go to the paper size and I'm going to go ahead and I thought I had it here. It's supposed to be here. Okay, tabloid borderless. And then automatically it changes my paper, my cardstock, to 11 by 17. I'll be using 110 white 11 by 17 cardstock. Orientation remains the same, scale 100%, and click on OK. And as you noticed, if you did notice that it changed the size of the canvas right here. The white part is your cardstock. Let's go ahead on your right hand side, go to page setup. The first one, the machine auto, I'll leave it in Cameo. My cutting mat, I'm using a 12 by 24. Why? Because it's a 15-inch cutout. You cannot use a 12-inch with a 15-inch unless you are slicing your image. We're not slicing. This is an entire image, 15 inches. Reveal remains the same. Media size, I leave it in custom. That way I can change it manually, which is the size of your cardstock. The width, 11 inches. The height, 17 inches. Orientation remains the same unless you're slicing. If you slice an image, and sometimes it fits better if you work with the other orientation vertical, well then yes, you can change it. But today we're working the orientation horizontal. Rotate view, that remains the same. Show print border, you need the show print border because it will display the printable allowable area. You won't see it, I don't know if you see it clicking in and out, that dark gray box, that's the printer. Your image should be inside that box. Now the cut border is the red one all around. Let me show you. And that will show you the cut border. Like I said, your image should be inside those boxes and of course inside your cardstock. Now, print bleed, that I don't use that one. Let's go ahead to your third box in the same page setup. And registration marks. You need your registration marks in order for your machine to recognize what you're using. Registration marks is this black box, this half square, and this gray fence. The rest remains the same. We're not using that for this type of cutout. Now, orientation for your, oh my goodness. Sorry guys, for your registration marks, I leave it as default. If you invert it, it will just go the other way around and it changes your map, which you see right here. This arrow is the program Silhouette Studio advising you that your mat has an arrow. That's the way you have to feed into your machine. Let's go ahead and put it back where it was. Okay, now we're done. Let's go ahead and file, click on merge so we can bring in the image. If you do not have your image saved to your computer, you click on merge, it'll take you automatically to your folders in your computer and you select your image. If you want to go to your library, you go ahead and go to your library if you have it saved to your library. I have it saved to my library, but if I import it, it's already worked on, meaning I already have the trace line over it, it's already grouped, and then I'll have to go ahead and just delete all that and start all over. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys from the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and click on merge, and it'll take me to my files in my computer. And I'm bringing in 2 images. Let me click on Tazmania. You see right here, I already have it saved. So if I bring this in, it's already worked on. Okay, see? It's already worked on and they already grouped, so I'm not going to use those. Let's go back, File, Merge. Again, let me just look for it, because I only saw one of the images and I need two. Let's go to File. Let's go to Merge. When you bring in your image with this one, because this has the box, when you bring in your image, it will have a transparent box that you won't see. Look at the size. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and 15. I'm going to do it 15 inches and 9 inches wide, because if I do 11 inches wide, it will not fit in the map. Okay, this is not 11 inches. I'm going to show you. Go to your layers panel on your right hand side, click on the trace tab, click on select trace area, highlight the entire image, go to the threshold, bump it up to 100, trace and detach. What it is, it will remove that box that's around it. Let's remove your image. Go ahead and select this entire image, and it's right there. How I know it's right there, go to your right hand side to your paint panel, and let's go at right there. You see that box? You didn't see it because it's transparent, so that's why it's not giving you the exact size. Let's go ahead and delete that. We don't need it. Just go back again, highlight all this entire section. There's nothing there that we need to delete. Come out, and this fits perfectly in here. It's above my registration mark, my gray fence. It's inside, and it's a 9 by 15. Let's go ahead and lock a little bit larger. Now let's go ahead to your, again, to your right hand side. Click on the trace tab, select trace area, highlight entire image, threshold, bump it up to 100, trace outer edge. Now, before we do that, the reason I'm doing all this, it's because you need a trace around your image. That way the machine will know where it will cut. If you don't do the trace and you load your mat to the machine will read the registration marks, but it will not cut because it doesn't know where it's going to cut. Okay, trace outer edge. Let's again highlight the entire image, go up to object and group. And there you go. I don't know if you guys can see that red border. Let's delete that. Okay, once we're done, we can do this one as well since we're right here. So we follow the same technique as this one. Release the transparent background, and it's already 15 inches by 8.5 because 9 will not fit on your mat. You go ahead to your trace tab, select trace area, highlight entire image, go to the threshold, bump it up to 100 so it can fill in your entire image, trace outer edge, and you see the red outline. Highlight the entire image, go to object and group it. Grouping the image will let you move it around your canvas, and if you have to make double-sided centerpieces, it's easier because then you go to object and then you go ahead and replicate mirror left, and it'll duplicate the same image, but it will be mirrored. And that we can do it with this one as well. Click on your image, object, replicate, and then mirror left. If you don't want to come back after you print and do all this, okay? Now, since we're here, let's say you had to go, you're done for the night, you're done for the day, and you want to work on it any other day. Let's go ahead and save your work. Now, it's going to save whatever you have inside your canvas and outside. Whatever you have right here, it will be saved. Let's go to File, Save As, and these are the options, Save to Hard Drive or Save to Library. I'm going to choose to Library. Well, I already have it saved. My storage is full. I'm going to have to work on this later on. But once you're here, you go ahead and it gives you the option. It's taking a little bit of time. It gives you the option to change the title. You go ahead and do that. And then you place it in whatever folder that comes up, whatever folder you have. And then you click OK. Once we're done with that, whatever is on your canvas, it's going to print. We're going to send it. Click on send. Mommy. Once here you see the outline, the red outline on your image, that's the trace line. Do not worry, it will not print red. That's just to let the machine know where it's going to cut. On your right hand side, I already have it set up to cardstock, and it's plain cardstock. You can choose, I choose right here, the cardstock heavy, because this one is 110 pound. And then the rest remains the same. Now you have to work, if you have to work on the force and speed of your blade, you change it here. And then what we do, go to the printer area, click on that. Let's change your printer. Select the printer that you'll be using. I'm using the HP 7740 wide format. I already have my presets done. I suggest that you save your presets if you print a lot of these 15 or larger cutouts. And we select print. Once it prints, you stick it onto your mat, you load it to your machine, and then we click on, checking the connection, then we click on send. Once it cuts, you go back to the design tab, we move that side, we place the next cutout on the canvas, and we follow the same technique. We click on send, click on your print tab, select your printer and print. Stick it onto your mat, load it to your machine, click on send. Once you cut, again, we go back to the design, follow the same steps for the rest of the cutouts. Yeah, let's just go ahead and set it aside. I forgot to add the TNT. Same technique. Grab your image, which I have it here right in the bottom, right in on my desktop. Let's just bring it in. Go to your layers panel, click on the trace tab, select trace area, highlight entire image, bump up the threshold to 100, trace and detach. This is just in case it has a transparent background, like we did with the other images. And there it is. Highlight entire image and delete. Now, for the TNT, I'm going to size it. It was 1.5 by 1.5. And then we go ahead, enter, and lock it. This will be to fit on the dynamite. Okay, set that aside. We bring in the star. Go to the trace panel, select trace area, highlight entire image, same technique. And we have both. Okay, now for the star, we just leave it black. That's a shadow. We're going to go ahead and size it. Well, let's bring in, not size it. I'm sorry, guys. Let's duplicate this, because we need a big one and a small one. for this one, let's size it. Let's change the color. Click on the star, go to your paint panel, and let's change that one will be yellow. This is just a guide for you to know what cardstock to use. You have to have designer edition in order for you to cut SVGs. If you do not have designer edition, you cannot cut this image. And then this will be just like this. And the big star, well, highlight entire image, object, and group. And then we're going to go ahead and size it. It's going to be a 2 by 2. Okay, we're good to go. It's a 2 by 2. We only need 4 of them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and replicate and row of 4. And we're going to go ahead, highlight the entire image. Let's go to object. Let's click on group. Be careful not to resize. Just drag them out. Let's highlight them and drag them out. Go to your page setup, third tab. Turn your registration marks off because this will not be a print and cut. If you do not have designer edition, leave them print and cut with your registration marks. Print it, same technique. Stick it onto your mat, load it to your machine, have it cut out. If you want to just do the cutout, turn off the registration mark, and then you click on send. And when it's a cut, it automatically traces your images. Then what you do is load your colored cardstock onto your mat, then load it to your machine, and then you press send. Once you press send, the machine will cut these stars on whatever colored cardstock you feed it into the machine. You load it into the machine. Once you do that, go back to your design, remove these, grab all of these other stars right here. Like I said, if you want print and cut, go back to your page setup, go to the third tab, registration marks on, click on the printer, select your printer, same technique, print. If not, let's go back, turn it off, X out, and send. And then follow the same technique. If you want all of them in here, I just like the effect of the 3D. I'm going to make them 3D. You can put all of it in one single page, print and cut. Okay, guys? Now, let's go ahead and remove this. Take this out the way. Now, for the TNT, it's going to be 1.2. No, the height is 1.2. And then the width will be 9. But we cannot do that because as you see here, this TNT stretches out and it's not going to look right. So what I'm going to do is just stretch it out more, right? Let me show you guys what I do. Let's go right here to your trace panel, select trace area, and that's the one we're going to trace. Let's go ahead so we can release it from there. Highlight right here, highlight here. Just get all that gray part out. Next, threshold, bump it up to 100, trace and detach. Trace and detach. Go back here, select trace area, and let's go ahead and release this part right here. Again, threshold, bump it up to 100, trace and detach. Okay, highlight this one. We don't need it. Delete it. Now we're going to size this one. The width will be 9 and the height, let's make it 2 inches instead of 1.5. Enter. Then we take our TNT. If that happens that the nodes come out, it's just, I don't know why it goes to node mode. Just go back here and trace on and click on that cursor. And then let's put this here. Let's go ahead and size it. The width, let's say 3 inches by 1 inch. Enter. Okay, and then we place that right in the middle. Right, it should be right here. And then let's go ahead. Here, just size it just like that. Let's highlight, see if it's centered. Where is it? Right here, center. Okay, it's good. Highlight entire image, object, and group. And that's your cutout for your dynamite. So see, we can put all this together. No need to make them apart if you don't have the designer edition. Put all that together. Follow same technique. Once you do all that, I'll see you guys back at the table. Okay, now that we're back at the table, let's go ahead and start assembling. I have the cutouts front and back, and this is the cutout for the dynamite. Disregard this pink part is my ink. I have to change my ink, but it don't matter because this will be covered. And then I have my stars. I have 2 strips, 1 inch by, this is 9. You can cut this in the machine. Okay, I just cut it by hand. And then I have the glue dot, double-sided tape, glue gun, a strip for the top of the dynamite, a foam noodle, foam roll. This is 7 inches. And then I have my 1 inch and 1.2 inches. I cut a few of them, few sizes. Why? Because when I roll the paper for the noodle, sometimes this part does not come out the same size. I don't know why, but see, this one is fine. You can glue that to the top instead of gluing it after. You can do that. But if you glue it like this, the paper is taller than the noodle, so I'll glue it after. And then I have, this is the cardstock that I used. Sorry guys, we don't need that. Okay, for the wrap up the noodle, I'll just take a 8.5 by 11 cardstock and I'll just cut it in half. We're gonna cut that in half. And then these 2 halves, and then these 2, what I do is I go ahead and take my double-sided tape and add 2 strips on each piece, which will be like this. And then I take the black 8.5 by 11, and on the short side, I'll just go ahead and cut 2 strips. Let's put that aside. And it'll be just like this. The black 2 strips, and then this is the cutout, and then the stars, and that small little strip that I have somewhere in here, right here, this one, this little strip is for this part on the top, and then the circles, which are right here, are for the top and the bottom. Okay. And then we need the 3x5 bases. I already painted the bases, which is just acrylic paint. I painted the bottom brown, and then the top with the same acrylic paint, red, of course, and let it dry for maybe an hour or so, whichever. This paint dries fast. And then I took my 12-inch dowel rod and I painted it brown. And let's set that aside. And then we have our glue gun, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and start with this noodle first. Okay, set this aside. Take your red cutout with the tape, release the backing. Remember, you don't have to use double-sided tape. You can use hot glue, but to me it's easier with the, on this side, double-sided tape. Now on this side for the noodle, so I'll just go ahead and apply halfway on the cardstock. Just doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little bit of glue so we can just attach the noodle. And while it's hot, let's go ahead and fold it. Make sure the ends are tucked in. And then you fold it, and then you just go like this. And you have your noodle. Okay. Pretty good, right? Okay, once you have 3 of them, you're going to go ahead and grab 2, add glue, right on all this side right here, and glue this one on here. Glue these 2 together. Yeah, you can grab it here. A few seconds for it to dry. And then take this right here and add generous amount of glue. Be careful not adding too much on the side. And then the part where it closes right here, then that's the part you glue it on right there. And then you can set it on the table so it can be even. It has to be even, because if it's not even, then it won't stand by itself. Okay, just press it. And I like to add the noodle because it's sturdier. I tried making them without the noodle, and even though this is a 65-pound cardstock, it's thick, I wasn't liking the outcome without the noodle. But you can make it without the noodle. But I decided it gives it more sturdy. It's sturdier. Okay, we got that. Let's go ahead and start with this one. Now, for the bottom part, I don't measure. I just eyeball it, and then I'll just go ahead and apply generous amount of glue here. And right here. Just go around. I don't add glue on the other side because I'll tighten it, and then I'll hold it on this side. Then I'm gonna add the glue right here. Okay, while holding it down, you add the glue, and there you go. I'm gonna do the same for this side. If you have excess glue, okay, done with that. Now let's get the TNT sign. For the TNT, I like to glue on the TNT first because I don't know where, if I glue it this like this, an example, if I start gluing it this way, I don't know where the TNT is going to land. It might be on the other side. So what I do, this is the front of my dynamite, which is the 2. Why? Because the glue parts are right here in the back, on the back. So I want these 2 to be the front of my dynamite. So my TNT, I want it to be right here in the middle. So what I do is I'll just go ahead and add the glue right here, just in the middle first. I will center it. And then I'll start gluing. Remember, I'm gonna glue this part right here because it has a pink spot because of the ink. I need to change my cartridge. Okay. And then the other side, just go ahead and add the glue and bring it in. Okay, and that's it. And let's go ahead and grab the circles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue on the top of the dynamite and then start adding the circles. I'm going to do that in the top and I'm going to do that in the bottom. Now that we have the bottom and top circles glued on, take both of the stars and just apply the glue dot right here. It'll be like 3D. And place it on top of this one. Next, you go ahead and grab your small strip. It doesn't matter the length, it's up to you. So just I add glue right here, right on the top. Glue it down. With that done, I'm going to apply glue right here on the tip of this black strip and just insert your star and just glue it right in the back of the orange star. Okay, I'm just gonna put it right in here so I can fix this part. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a little bit of that glue out. I added way too much glue on that side. Okay, better. Looks much better. Okay, now there you go. I just put it here so I can wait for it to dry, but it's dry now. So you just fold it, and there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and set that aside, and let's bring in our dowel rod and your base. Now, for your base, what I like to do first is go ahead and grab your cutout and just measure, not to interfere with the base. I'll get my pen and make a little mark. Okay, and let's go ahead and right there. And I'm going to go ahead and glue on the dowel rod. Just apply generous amount of glue. Now, we don't need any support on the side or on the bottom because it's just a 15-inch. It's not a heavy cutout. It's not a heavy piece. So we don't need support. If it would have been a 21-inch or taller, well then yes, we will need a few popsicle sticks to give it support. See, this is pretty. It's not flimsy. So really good. Now let's bring in the back part, and what I do first is try to align it first on one side or even at the top. Doesn't matter which side you choose, but I like to do it right at the top. Making sure the bottom, it should be aligned. Okay. Once you do that, then I'll go ahead and add the glue right in the middle of the dowel rod. Okay, and then when I do that, I go ahead and seal the sides with glue. Okay, there we go. Both sides, right there. Just grab the base. And let's go ahead. And I like to twist it on the base. Okay, and there you go. Let me see. Yep, you guys can see it right there. Okay, let's put this one aside. And let's go ahead and grab the second one. Same technique for this one. We go ahead and measure. For it not to touch the base, put in the base all the way in. And okay, I'll speed this part a bit. Okay, we are done with that. Let's go ahead and place it on the base. Okay, we are done. Let me get a better angle so I can show you the other centerpieces. Okay, here are the 4 centerpieces with the dynamite. I'm just missing one more. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. And as usual, happy crafting.